"I'm Isaac from the mountain takes." A climber disappeared on a mountain. His body was found, but the investigation raised more questions than answers. Was it an accident? Was it something else? The mountain kept its secret. Sit tight, because now I'm going to explain what actually happened. It was April 30th, 2017, on Mount Annapurna in Nepal. The temperature at 7,000 meters was minus 35 degrees Celsius. The wind was moderate. The visibility was clear. Ueli Steck, 40 years old, a Swiss alpinist, was attempting a solo speed climb of Annapurna's South Face, one of the most difficult and dangerous routes on one of the deadliest mountains on Earth. He had left advanced base camp early that morning with a small pack containing minimal gear. His plan was to climb fast, climb alone, and set a new speed record for the South Face. He had done similar solo speed climbs before. He had broken speed records on other mountains. He was one of the world's most accomplished alpinists. And on April 30th, 2017, he went onto Annapurna and never came back down alive. Ueli Steck was born on December 4th, 1976, in Switzerland. From childhood, he had been drawn to mountains. By his teenage years, he was climbing serious alpine terrain. By his 20s, he was soloing some of the most difficult mountains in the Alps. By his 30s, he had begun attempting the world's highest peaks, not with large expeditions and support teams, but alone, moving fast, pushing the limits of what seemed possible. In high-altitude mountaineering, he had made the first solo ascent of the north face of the Eiger in winter. He had soloed Denali. He had broken speed records on multiple 8,000ers. His reputation in the climbing world was almost mythical, a man who moved through mountains with a grace and efficiency that made the impossible look routine. But Ueli also had a reputation for conflict. He was opinionated. He was dismissive of commercial climbing operations that, in his view, treated mountains like tourist attractions. He had clashed with other climbers. He had made enemies. And in the weeks before his death on Annapurna, there had been tensions at base camp between his team and local Sherpa workers. The exact nature of these tensions was never fully documented in public records, but multiple sources reported that there had been arguments, that Ueli had been frustrated with the pace of operations, that there had been confrontations. On April 30th, 2017, Ueli left advanced base camp at approximately 4 a.m. He was moving solo. He had a radio. His plan was to communicate with his team periodically as he climbed higher. His goal was to reach the summit and return to advanced base camp within approximately 24 hours, an extraordinarily aggressive timeline for Annapurna's South Face, which is one of the most technically demanding and dangerous routes on the mountain. The morning progressed. Ueli moved up the route. He communicated with base camp at several checkpoints. His progress was faster than anticipated. He was performing at the level of skill that had made him legendary, moving efficiently, making good time, pushing toward the summit with a focus and determination that seemed almost superhuman. Base camp tracked his progress. Everything seemed to be going according to plan. At approximately 2 p.m. on April 30th, Ueli was at approximately 7,000 meters on the South Face. He was ahead of schedule. He was moving well. He radioed base camp and reported his position. Base camp gave him a weather update. The forecast was good. The window was holding. Everything was aligned for a successful push toward the summit. And then the communication stopped. Base camp tried to reach Ueli on the radio. No response. They tried again. Still nothing. Hours passed. Ueli did not respond to any radio calls. Base camp waited, thinking perhaps his radio had died, perhaps the batteries had failed, perhaps he was in a section of the mountain where radio signals couldn't reach. But as hours turned into a full day with no communication, the reality became clear. Something had gone wrong. On May 1st, a rescue operation began. Sherpa guides and other climbers from base camp began moving up the route to search for Ueli. The weather was deteriorating. The window that had been so promising was closing. The rescue effort was dangerous. They were moving up a mountain in worsening conditions, searching for a climber who had simply vanished. On May 2nd, Ueli's body was found. At approximately 6,500 meters on the South Face, he was deceased. The exact cause of death became the subject of immediate and intense debate that would continue for years. The official investigation concluded that Ueli had fallen. The terrain where he was found suggested a fall. His body was positioned as if it had impacted rock during a descent. The injuries he sustained were consistent with a major fall. The logical conclusion was that Ueli had slipped, had fallen, and had died from impact. Injuries. This was the story told by the official rescue report. But there were complications to this narrative. Some of the Sherpa guides who found Ueli reported seeing evidence that seemed inconsistent with a simple fall. There were reports of possible confrontation marks on Ueli's body that some interpreted as evidence of violence. There were rumors, never substantiated, that there had been a physical altercation between Ueli and Sherpa workers from a rival expedition team in the days before his death. There were suggestions that the fall might not have been accidental. The investigation examined these claims. The official conclusion remained: Ueli fell. But the presence of conflicting accounts, the tensions that existed at base camp, and the unusual circumstances of his death created a narrative that extended beyond simple accident. There were people who believed Ueli had been murdered. There were people who believed the official investigation was incomplete. There were people who believed the truth of what happened on Annapurna's South Face on April 30th, 2017 would never be fully known. What is documented is that Ueli Steck, one of the world's greatest alpinists, died on a mountain he was attempting to conquer. What is unclear is exactly how he died, whether it was a fall caused by exhaustion, altitude, or terrain hazard. Whether it was something else entirely, the mountain kept that secret. Ueli's death sent shockwaves through the climbing community. Here was a man, at the absolute peak of his abilities, attempting one of the world's most difficult climbs, dying under circumstances that were never fully explained. His family mourned, the climbing world mourned, and the questions about what actually happened remained unanswered. If you've ever wondered what happens when ambition meets mountains at their deadliest, if you've ever questioned whether the best climbers are truly untouchable, subscribe, because there are more stories of mountains that solve mysteries by keeping them